freight train right down that New Delhi line.
Well, my father and uncles had a band, the original Maines Brothers band, and so when we were just little kids, we would hear them play. They'd play in our house or in my grandmother's kitchen.
We would kind of be outside the house, maybe listening in. We'd find us a hoe handle or a broom or whatever, and emulate what they were doing inside with the music. So I think at that point in time, we knew that music was going to be, something that we might follow in our dad's footsteps in doing.
And so we would have those Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening gatherings at my grandmother's house, sitting around the kitchen table just singing. We started singing along with some 45 records that we had there at the house. And my dad came home from work one night and my mom informed him that we'd been singing. And so he pulled out the guitar and essentially said, okay, show me what you got.
They call us the Little Maines Brothers. Back, I was 14 and Steve was 12, Kenny was 11. Donnie was still way too young to play with us, but we started playing dances and BFWs and Catholic halls and rodeo dances when we were just kids.
And so we started playing a Sunday matinee at the Cotton Club, 4 to 7. And then my dad and his brothers, Son and Wayne, would play in the evenings from 8 to midnight on Sundays.
And then when I was about 17, a guy who played steel in my dad's band, he was from Post, Texas, his name was Frank Carter. It was a homemade steel that they were building. And I think Frank Carter kind of gave up on it, but he got it to the point where it would play, where it was a good playing steel. I guess he liked me well enough to just give me that homemade steel. So I came home one day from football practice, and there was a steel sitting up in my living room.
My senior year in high school, we were playing a club here in Lubbock on Thursday nights. And so we would play till midnight and load up our equipment. Kenny and I would, because Kenny's 1 year younger, we were both playing football. We would grab us a couple of hot dogs and a strawberry shake and eat and drink those on the way home, and then be ready to be at school the next day and be ready to play football the next night.
Kind of went our separate ways for a while.
I had played so much by the time I got out of high school that I just wanted to go to college and get a regular job.
Moved to Dallas, San Marcos, not doing any music at all.
I actually ended up out of high school going to work for a lounge band in Las Vegas, Nevada.
So the Maines Brothers kind of didn't exist there for a short period of time.
Welcome back. We're going to move things right along now.
Then I came off the road in 1976 and began to reform the Maines Brothers. That really was always my passion. My dream was to get back with family.
The neatest feeling that I have is like we never stopped. I mean, it's just we walk in, it's the same stupid jokes, but everybody just sits down with their instrument and we jump into it, and it's kind of spooky because it's almost like it was last week when we played.
We kind of kicked the Maines Brothers back off again in the late 70s, early 80s, and then we played all through the 80s, toured back and forth across the country, went to Europe.
We drew some attention from Nashville. A producer by the name of Jerry Kennedy, who had produced the Statler Brothers and Reba McEntire with Mercury Polygram, had an interest in us. They'd actually heard Route 1 Acuff, and they were questioning whether that was actually us playing on the record, because they said, okay, are you playing your own instruments on the recording? We said yes. Ended up with we ended up recording 2 albums on Mercury Polygram there in Nashville.
And we really got into it during that time, but we all had families, so we still prioritized the family before the music.
That was one of our requirements with the company, which I'm not sure if that had ever been done before. And the fact that we said, okay, we'll do the album, we want to record the album here in Lubbock. And at the same time, and that created some tension, I think, with the executives in Nashville. They couldn't understand that, they didn't know why, but with us, we felt more comfortable. You know, we could go home, sleep in our own beds at night after the session, and so it was better for us. But that relationship didn't last as long as the contract had specified, so they actually let us go. They let us have an out on the contract. We went back to our own recording, just producing our own records.
We had fun for 10 years in the 80s, yeah.
And then after that, everybody just started settling down. Lloyd stuck around here for a while, but moved to Austin in the mid-90s because that's where he was spending most of his time. Actually ran for county commissioner in 1992, won that slot, and so I began essentially full-time working at the courthouse, and that restricted me from doing much of anything else. And you know, I think it felt like we'd taken our shot, and just had not, you know, we maybe had not attained some of the goals that we'd set for ourselves, but we'd made some inroads, and really, I think in my mind, in our mind, we had helped to define Lubbock music, which is part of that, and that was, I'm proud to be a part of that. So essentially, once you leave home, you begin to become separated from your family. I mean, not that you really want to, and you try to get together, you know, and visit as much as you can, but you have separate families and with this, but coming back on the road and reforming the band with the brothers, and then eventually our sister LaTronda came into that, but that forced us to spend time together that we wouldn't have had to spend together, and I'll always be grateful for that.